Lydia, Sean.
Hello.
How are you guys doing today?
Good.
Good. Good. How
Awesome.
are you?
I'm doing well, Sean. It's snowing. I just looked out my window. I can't wait. I'm hoping it sticks. If it does, I'm not building a big snowman, but I promise if it snows as much as they say it's gonna snow, I'm building a little mini snowman.
I got
I'm gonna try.
I got an Antifa out in the yard, but you can't see him because he doesn't exist.
I needed a good laugh.
That's a good one.
So, yep, I needed a good one. So, did anybody watch? Did anybody watch Anderson Cooper last night? The okay, then I won't bring up the segment on QAnon. All I'm gonna say, Sean, I don't know if you saw my tweet.
I read the article. About he was like, I thought you ate.
Yeah, man, those people are on a whole nother level. They are on a whole nother level of crazy. Yeah.
I don't know if I cut it out of my last video, but I think I talked about QAnon briefly in either my last video or the one before it. And I'm talking about how they say that they're harvesting adrenochrome out of babies.
Yeah.
And the idea about it is it's supposed to make you look younger. And I'm like, clearly they're not giving it to Nancy Pelosi because look at her. Like, no offense, I like the woman, fine enough, but
She looks her age.
use your senses, guys.
Hello, somebody.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was ridiculous. I do want to, before we get started and start having some conversations, I do want to say I was extremely happy yesterday when I found out that 2 more attorneys walked away from Trump. What? So I think that's a total of 5. It's 5, right? That's a total of 5 attorneys
It's probably
that have man.
This is what we want to say at the court hearing. No, I'm out. The one high profile one, everybody was talking him up. Oh man, Trump's serious because they're bringing in Buckman, whatever his name is, and he's like, see ya, I'm out. They're arguing stuff that we didn't see with our own eyes over the past several months. They're arguing stuff where he's at the damn debates, the last one with Biden, and he can't admit that he's not going to cause problems. He's telling people that the vote is going to be stolen, and he's telling people to stand back and stand by, and wants us to believe that he didn't incite in any way.
Okay, hold on to that. Lydia, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, I think this kind of sucks a little bit. I mean, I like the fact that, he doesn't have representation because I think he's going to have a harder time, finding anybody who will take this up. But the thing is that I think that's going to delay the impeachment process. You don't think so?
I don't think so.
No, because due process is not a technical part about it. This is a completely political situation. They keep trying to make it like it is a law situation, but Lindsey Graham himself stated during the impeachment of Clinton, where he was arguing to impeach Clinton, that you don't even have to have committed a crime in order to be impeached.
Right.
But I've read reporting that it's likely they're going to tap Jim Jordan to be his lawyer.
He irritates me.
And he's an idiot.
You drag him through. He is an idiot.
Yeah.
He's an idiot.
Jim
GYM Jordan.
Yeah, that's it. That's his name. Matt Gaetz irritates me too.
Yes. He needs to leave Liz Cheney alone.
Yeah, he really does.
Yeah.
He really does. Yeah, and Lydia, you really like her too, right?
Who?
Liz Cheney?
No, I mean, I don't have a problem with her, but I don't like her.
Oh.
But I mean, I'm thankful that she voted, to impeach, and I'm thankful she stood by her morals and stuff like that, But
yes, she did.
Other than that, I mean, I don't like her. I don't but I don't hate her either. So I'm, you
Her
know.
dad is like one of my favorite stories from a vice president. Shoots a guy in the face and then has the guy come on television and apologize for insulting him. You
Mm-mm.
remember that? They went on the hunting trip.
Yes.
He shoots the guy in the face, and then the guy goes on television like, "I'm sorry for the inconvenience that this has caused the Cheney family."
Wow. Okay. So, um, with that being said, I'm I don't know like what's been going on with all of you this week. Since I guess I, brought up current events. It would be kind of cool to know how you guys are feeling since Joe Biden is officially in, President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. It was very different, not, especially since I'm on Twitter so much, not seeing crazy tweets. It's been refreshing to watch the news and not have to hear any crazy
Mm-hmm.
stories, rhetoric, or anything like that. And I don't have any complaints. Watching the press briefings, I've tried to watch every single one. I love the way Jen Psaki, she is a freaking beast.
Right.
Professional, friendly, nice. If she doesn't know the answer to a reporter's question, she says she doesn't. She says, I'll get back to you. She does her research. The next day, when she comes in, she follows up with the
Right.
question that she didn't have the answer to. And she answers everybody's questions. She allows them to have follow-up questions, and she doesn't interrupt.
Mm-hmm.
She lets them speak. And so it makes me feel hopeful. And on the other side though, tomorrow we kick off Black History Month. It bothers me for all of the firsts that we've had this year, as far as Black people go, we're behind. We're behind with the way we get treated. We're behind for the Black people that are punching a time clock and busting their ass for somebody else. We're behind in the way we get treated from our neighbors, people that live in our communities. So, for as happy and as excited as I am about all of the first, this is 2021. Come, I mean, really? Then,
You guys should trade your month in and get one that has 30 or 31 days. They only gave you like 28.
see, that's how they do Black people. That's how we get treated.
Well,
Never get the best of anything.
And before anybody says there's no White History Month, I think you guys get like, I don't know, 9,
exactly.
8 or 9
Okay.
months.
Exactly.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hopeful too. I think he accomplished a lot in the first couple like a week or so. I think he's done a lot. There's just so much to undo, and there's so much work ahead. I'm a member of a group on Facebook called Close the Camps, and they are livid. They're like, no, not one more day. He needs to get these camps closed. But they've already announced that First Lady is going to be helping to reunite those families. And I don't think the average person understands the logistics of trying to
Exactly.
connect those families together.
That's not going to be done in a day.
It's not.
They don't know where the Trump administration, they didn't keep track of anything.
Exactly.
And let's not forget the fact that one of his staff members has already publicly said that, I mean, he destroyed the conversation he had with Putin.
Right.
They literally would have to go and tape back pages of documents that Trump tore up.
And tape them back. Yeah.
Yeah, tape them back together.
Yeah.
Mind blowing. But
Right.
yeah, but they're not. That's not. It's not going to be easy. You're right, Lydia.
And I think there's a lot of expectations of our president, current president, to get everything done like right now.
Right now.
And I understand the impatience because we've had to endure a 4-year abusive relationship with a toxic president. I mean, the insurrection is proof positive that he was a toxic president. But in any case, I understand the impatience. Everybody's ready for this nightmare to be over. But unfortunately, we have to continue. I mean, the healing is going to start, but it's going to take a little while. And, you know, you said that there was no documentation. I read somewhere too that he also they don't know where they sent some of the ventilators to. All of the, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Another thing about the children is the fact that what a lot of people don't understand is inherently, my family is minority primarily, and a lot of times we have an inherent distrust of government authority figures. So when the government's calling your house, you're not just going to be like openly well, my sisters, live in such and such or whatever. You're going to be, it's going to be a pain in the neck, especially because some of the people are, obviously some of them are illegal because we're trying to unite their children with them. They're not going to be jumping up and saying, here I am.
Right.
So that makes the logistics even harder because they're not like waving a sign saying,
You're deported.
That's my waving sign motion.
And, to go back to, I'm not saying everybody has to think like me, but facts are facts. So, to go back with kicking off Black History Month tomorrow, I don't think it's cool that the United States government intentionally chose to not list names for Black people on some of their census reports. They intentionally chose to list them under the white people that own them and only list an estimated age and the gender. That shit's not cool at all. And although I'm talking about Black History Month, the same thing was done for Mexicans and Indigenous.
Right.
Yep.
How can anybody be supporting him? How can anybody be supporting anything he stands for that is Black, Mexican, or Native American?
Propaganda.
I mean, even if I thought someone was eating babies, I don't know that I can stand right next to them while we're storming the Capitol while they're shouting white power. That's like, how would I feel comfortable with that if I'm anything other than a white person?
And
because I believe.
Go ahead, Sean.
I believe that they're cosplaying. It's like they're role playing their situation. They believe that they're in an honest to God like end of the country situation, and the world is changing, and if they don't jump up and fight for it, nobody's going to. But they're fighting for bigotry and lies, and they're fighting for things that if the shoe was on the other foot, they'd be the first to stand in the way of. Like, imagine if the Democrats had stormed the Capitol in 2016 when the whole, when Donald Trump was going to be elected, and we were talking about Russia and all that stuff. Imagine if the Democrats broke in and 5 people were killed, and they were talking about stringing people up. Imagine if that happened. Mm-hmm. It's literally a partisan thing with them. They don't look at it like our democracy was actually in danger. They look at it like, they're doing what they have to fight for whatever bullshit they believe in. And it's just wrong, because instead of taking a second to step back and look and say, there is no basement in the bottom of Comet Ping Pong. Right. They go, well, well, that's wrong, but the rest of this is right. Stupid.
Well, what I find kind of ironic, I'm not surprised, but what's ironic to me is how when these rioters were attacking the Capitol, and while they were attacking, amped up, recording, after they were done, posting shit on social media, after they got caught. Oh, no, I'm not, that is not me. You're full of shit.
I got caught up in the moment.
Yeah. So what?
I want Jakey and Jelly to testify at the impeachment trial. I want him to. His lawyer said that he will throw Trump under the bus. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
Yes.
The QAnon shaman. I knew about him previous to the storming of the Capitol because he was one of the public QAnon figures. Him and like the medic. I don't remember what his name is. But anyway.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. People went from like, I'm fighting for my country to, he didn't give me a pardon.
Man,
exactly.
I don't understand this because a lot of people from right after the riots happened, they're like, oh, see, this guy was at the Antifa, not Antifa, the Black Lives Matters march. And that's why we know that this was Antifa. That's because people who were involved didn't know about him, or some of the people didn't. But it's just like, to me, you're responsible for yourself. If a 14-year-old Black kid gets arrested for stealing a backpack, and they're like, oh, you know what you did wrong. These grown people, some of them were in walkers, in wheelchairs. Like, they know what they did was wrong.
Yep.
You cannot say, well, I was just listening to the president. He told us to do this. You don't do that. You don't get to say that. You're an adult. Just because you're carrying around your white privilege card does not mean that you get to do whatever that crap you want to do, and you have no responsibility or any kind of accountability. Okay, I'm done.
On a side thing, though, I want you to keep saying it was the president's fault if that's what you believe. Just keep on doing it.
Please keep doing it. Yes,
if you think it was the president's fault, please keep on saying it.
Yep, I agree.
I want to see that.
I
want to see the supercut.
Yes,
I want to see the supercut.
I think we're going to be amazed when we find out what was really going on and how many people were behind this, and how detailed it was.
On a side note, I know that you guys have been hearing about it in the news a lot. This former KGB agent talking about how they were grooming Donald Trump since the 80s. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been listening to that book on Audible by Unger, by Craig Unger. Good book, pretty interesting stuff,
and
compelling.
Before we wrap up, another thing that irritated me, and although Lydia will get it, talking about, okay, right now, it's a problem with racism in the military. Man, I can say it now. Lydia, me and you, we need to do a segment on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The military has unwritten rules that the average civilian does not know about. If you're in, you're going to follow them until your ass gets out, especially if you come in at a lower rank or without any rank. That's just the way it is. Racism in the military has existed since the beginning of time. And guess what? It's not going anywhere until our elected officials grow some balls, which is what they won't even share any of the data from the research that they've done. Black people, people of color, have gotten treated like shit and less than since the beginning of time. I went through it when I was in the Air Force. Lydia went through it. So I'm like, when they show that on TV,
of course. Of course.
Please.
Oh, come on. We got to keep that patriotic education going. We can't find out that we're doing something wrong and correct it. We just have to, hold our nose and turn away from it.
And that's what they're going to do. It's going to continue. It's going to continue. There's not going to be anything anybody can be done. I'm telling you. I guarantee that
bell.
There's nothing that can be done.
It's so inbred.
I agree with you, but we can at least make work towards it. I mean, like, who would have thought in 2020 they would have thrown Confederate flags and Confederate generals and all that stuff off of, you know what I mean? Like, who would have thought that stuff would have happened? When they say that social disruption civil disruption rather doesn't make change, it was people's money that caused the Washington team to drop the Redskins name. It was social pressure and people like Kaepernick taking the knee at first that started bringing attention to the Black Lives Matter movement and anything like that. I think that we can make progress in the military over time as long as we don't let them. The problem is that they're going to try to like pull the wool over your eyes and say, this is what we've done to make things better, but what they're really doing is just putting a cork into people's mouths and not letting them speak out. So if we keep it ringing the bell, at least it'll maybe make minor changes. I don't know. I'm not a military person. I'm just trying to use my experience as an individual.
It won't happen.
I mean, I'm kind of with Sean. We got to try. I mean, you got to try. So I'm not I'm not just saying it's doomed from the beginning. I mean, it's a long road, a lot longer road than it is in our, regular society, because you throw rank and stuff on top of that. So it's a much harder road to climb than.
And then you throw white people.
Mm-hmm.
Look how many veterans that have been exposed because of the attack on the Capitol.
Yep, a lot of them.
Yeah.
So
right.
It's not, they're not even willing to share the data that they have on the mistreatment of Black people. That should not be, that shouldn't even be an issue.
They could probably get sued for the Freedom of Information Act.
But during the Obama administration, there was a report that came out that said that there was some concern about the rise of white extremists, white power extremism. And what did people do? They're like, oh, he's got to turn everything into race. They were just like, oh, he's just got to do. But now, guess what? We have an insurrection, and when people should have listened from the first, in the first place. And I guess now they're trying to start doing more vetting when people come into the military. At least that's an article I read, that they're going to start trying to kick out some of the people who have radical extremist views. So I don't know. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah. Radicalization's off the charts.
Right. And to be honest, some of these people actually focus on military people. They target
like the order.
I'm sorry?
Like the order.
Yeah. They focus on them to try to radicalize them so that they have, somebody with knowledge of how to handle, any kind of strategy and, stuff like that. So.
Yep. A lot of the militias are trained by, former military individuals.
Right. Yeah. It's crazy.
So anyway, happy end of January.
I know, right?
It's been a long year.
Exactly.
It has been. Yeah, and hopefully, tomorrow, February 1st, on Monday, it's going to be much better. Even better. But we did close out January on a strong note, though. Yep. We got President Biden and Vice President Harris. Right. And this is totally not even what I thought we would be talking about, but it was good. And I got to get amped up and excited about something. I love when that happens. So before we go, anything you guys want to say, share, other than your information on where everybody can find you at?
I just wanted to thank everybody that has stuck with us after the elections. I know a lot of this stuff started because that's what we were fighting, I suppose, but thank you for sticking with us. We have a lot of topics we'll talk about, and if you want to suggest something, just leave it in the comment section down below.
That's so sweet.
And I want to just encourage everybody to be hopeful. I mean, just stay hopeful. Try to stay positive. We're heading in a better direction than we were as a country. No, not as a country. I would say the government is starting to do that, but hopefully we get there as a country and we start pulling back whatever hornet's nest our previous president riled up. And
it's gonna be a lot.
Yeah, I know it's a lot, but prayerfully, hopefully things will get better soon. So just I'm hopeful, and I'm just asking that you
I'm hopeful.
Stay positive too.
Yep.
I'm hopeful.
Yep.
Put the work in.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let everybody know where they can find y'all at.
You can find me at Just Lydia 111, and also on all social media platforms. And you can purchase any kind of merch that we have on ojusttalk.net.
Awesome. Sean, Indigenous Patriot.
Sean the Indigenous Patriot on everything. Indigenous Patriot, Sean the Indigenous Patriot on YouTube. I'm everywhere. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff.
Nice. Man. And I'm Vonda. You can find me at Just Talk or Ovonda on all social media platforms. And I just want to tell everybody to please wear a mask and social distance. If you don't have one on and you see me out, stay away from me. I sincerely mean that. Don't come near me. We are too far into this now for you guys not to be taking it seriously. So please wear a mask and social distance, if at all possible. Remember, the comeback is always greater than the setback. But before I say bye, Lydia and Sean, I want to talk about the vaccine on one episode. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
All right.
No problem.
Oh, go ahead.
Vonda's gonna be on Indigenous Patriot sometime in February. So
yes, I am.
If you guys want to ask her anything, please leave it in the comment section down below this video. And stay tuned. I'm excited. She's going to be my first guest on the channel.
I'm excited too. This is going to be so much fun.
Yep.
All right. Love you guys. Y'all stay safe.
Deuces.
No way.